Hey guys, what's up? It's Ripe again. In today's video, my insane mother-in-law claims that I kidnapped my kid because my son has a different skin color than me. She then tries to take away my kid and calls the cops on me to get me arrested, and I honestly don't know what to do. Here is what happened. Let's dive right into the video. Even just having to write the title for this story makes me feel like my blood pressure is rising. I hope that one day I might look back on this and think it was funny, or at the very least not cause me to rage. Well, before I talk about the exact incident that happened, I want to tell you about my family. I am a black female. My husband is a very pale Irish man, as is his mother. Now, my mother-in-law does not like me, but it was not always the most obvious thing in the world. She was always passive-aggressive to me for the most part, and I had a strong feeling it was because of the difference in race. I could not really prove that though, and was not gonna tell my husband that his mother was racist and start a big fight unless she did something. Fast forward, and we had a beautiful son that hilariously enough looks like a clone of my husband. Despite me giving birth to him, he is the palest baby in the world, but to me that does not matter because I love him and he is healthy. Due to the pandemic and living in another part of the country, we had not actually seen my mother-in-law for a couple of years. This meant she never got to visit and see her grandchild yet. Hopefully that background will help in a little while when it comes to her reactions and attempting to say how I kidnapped my own child. So the day she was meant to come over, things got a little hectic, and to ignore irrelevant details to the story, we ended up meeting with her at the mall. That is not the easiest place to take an almost 2-year-old kid, but I was sure it would end up fine. I took him to the bathroom while my husband was waiting at the store that she was meant to be meeting us at. Instead, I walked out of the bathroom with my son and actually ran right into her. I really don't like being alone with this woman, but it was happening and I was just gonna roll with it. Me, mother-in-law, hey, I thought we were meeting you over by this store. My husband is over there waiting for you, so we can just walk together. Mother-in-law, oh good, I cannot wait to go and meet my grandchild. Me, actually he's right here with me. I assumed that she just didn't see him because he wanted to walk and was kind of hiding behind one of my legs. I then moved so she can get a better look at him, and I assume she will go full grandma mode. Instead though, she makes a face and turns towards me. Mother-in-law, what are you doing with that kid? Where is his mom? Me, this is my son. Mother-in-law, don't be ridiculous. Somebody like you cannot make a child that looks like that. Where's his real mom? Me, I know he looks a lot like husband, but he really is mine too. I was starting to feel awkward and shot off a text to my husband while my mother-in-law knelt down and was trying to talk to my son. Mother-in-law, sweetie, where's your mommy? Mommy is a word he does know at least, and that just sent him off saying it over and over again. I don't think he knew what she wanted. He likes to take the words he knows people say to him and start repeating it. Mother-in-law then turns to me and looked extremely angry. Mother-in-law, I cannot believe that you would do this and kidnap a poor child. Knowing that you and my son could never make a good-looking baby, so you just go and steal a child. Security! She yelled and grabbed my son's hand before trying to walk away with him. I didn't even think and instead jumped right in front of her and was not letting her get anywhere. Somebody hearing the screaming must have called security because they showed up within a few minutes. I could not get 2 words out and she was just yelling that I had stolen this child. I was so angry and the security seemed to be taking her side because of how different I looked compared to my kid. However, I had the stretch marks to prove that I housed him for 9 long months, but they didn't care. My husband finally got my text and had shown up seeing my son in the arms of his grandma, screaming, and me about to be detained by security. He asked what was going on and security tried to tell him to keep moving, not realizing that he was involved in all of this. Dada is another word my son knows, and upon seeing his dad, he started screaming it. Security must have called the actual police because they started showing up and everybody kind of stopped once they realized my son was calling out towards his dad. I guess he said mummy enough before, and thinking back, maybe if I started him saying that it should have helped, but knowing what was going on, they might have assumed my mother-in-law was just an older mother. The officers started telling my husband about how I had supposedly tried to kidnap my own son, and this lady was stopping me from leaving the mall with him. Now my husband has seen people in stores look at our family and have judgmental faces. I think he had something boiling inside of him for a while because he exploded on his mother for the first time since I knew him. Husband, what the hell are you doing? You came here specifically to meet my wife, my child and me. What possessed you to see her with him and not think for 1 second that he was our kid? I am sick of your subtle racist attitude, and getting my wife almost arrested for kidnapping her own kid just crossed the line. Unless you want to change and show me that you're not the person I think you are in this moment, you will never see me or my son again. Then he turned his attention to the security and officers. My husband said, the woman you are trying to arrest is my wife and the mother of that kid. I'm sure if you spoke to her for 1 minute, she would have shown you plenty of pictures of the two of them together. He might look like me, but his personality comes right from her, and he knows that's his mom because a kid doesn't just look at the color of somebody's skin and makes assumptions. I had to calm him down because he was really getting steamed, and I was a little worried that he might have gotten arrested. What nobody noticed was that while mother-in-law and me were fighting, she must have scratched me at some point because I was bleeding. The police turned to my husband and me and asked if we wanted to press charges against mother-in-law for assault and for attempting to kidnap our kid. Her trying to take him and walk away without my permission apparently counted as that. I wanted to do that, and my husband fully backed me up on it. Due to the situation of my injury not being severe and him technically being her grandson, no court was gonna throw her in prison. Instead, we were told the motions we could go through if we wanted to get a restraining order later down the road against her for both of us and our son. I really wanted to try and make things work before all of this so my son could have a grandma. In the end though, he doesn't deserve one that refuses to accept our family. If she tries to touch him again, I might end up being the one arrested for assault because I no longer will deal with her antics. And the next one is titled, Was I a jerk to my entitled sister-in-law and mother-in-law? I am 7 months pregnant with my first child. The baby is also the first grandchild/nephew of my husband's family, which everyone is excited about. I lost my mom and father to the pandemic, being an only child, so there's not much of my family. Since the death of my parents 1 year ago, my husband's family has welcomed me with open arms as part of them, and I've become very close to my mother-in-law and sister-in-law. I always wanted to have a gender reveal, and I trusted my sister-in-law to organize everything about this. With 3 days to go before the party, I started to receive messages from all my husband's relatives and even close friends congratulating me on my baby being a boy. I went to ask what happened, and my sister-in-law confessed that she let it slip to my mother-in-law, and she told everyone the sex of the baby after knowing because she couldn't hold it and it took proportions beyond what they imagined. Nobody called me to tell this. The party was then cancelled and I was heartbroken as well as extremely hurt by the two of them. Usually they accompanied me to the ultrasound shopping for the baby room, and my mother-in-law would stay at the time of delivery. However, after this breach of trust, I stopped inviting them and asked them to respect my boundaries when they pressured me to go. Honestly, I did not even send them the baby shower invite because I really avoided contact with them as much as possible. Because everyone knew before me that it was a boy, my husband started complaining that I was pushing them away because of a mistake that could happen and that I was being harsh. Yesterday he brought up this, and when I said that I still didn't feel comfortable with them, he said, "Soon you will tell me that my mother won't be able to go to the birth." I think my face showed my response, and he started saying that I was being too hard on her because she was just excited, blah blah blah. I had my limit and said, if you keep pushing me, it won't just be your mother who won't be on my labor. So either stop or you won't come in. He started to say that I was crossing lines and that he had a right to have this moment. I was taking this with them too far, and he slept on the couch and doesn't talk to me more than necessary now. Am I the jerk here? Well, many are saying it's just a gender reveal. I honestly don't care for that, and I think it's tacky, but my mom was the type who likes/loves it, and she always dreamed of having grandchildren, and she said she was made to be a grandma. She cannot meet my son or even know I am pregnant, so I wanted to do something tacky that I don't care for her, not for me. Everyone knew the importance and the reason. I always wanted to have a gender reveal with my mom there, and I didn't have either. Extra, let's get to some points. At no time did I say that I would never approach them again, but right now I don't see myself doing that. I already have grief, pregnancy hormones and day-to-day stress to deal with, so I don't want anything else to bother me. Obviously, I want my husband to be in childbirth. However, it's a lot of stress and he brings this topic up all the time, and I doubt he'll stop even at the time of my delivery trying to convince me. Even if he goes, if he says anything about his mother coming, I will ask him to leave. Comment number 1. This was not a mistake, this was a choice. Your sister-in-law made a choice and told mother-in-law. Mother-in-law then made a choice to tell everyone else in the family, your husband is making the choice to pressure you into things, which is leaving you to make some choices of your own now. You are allowed to make your own choices, nobody, not even the husband, has a right to be in the delivery room. May seem harsh, but it's true if you don't want. The person going through the procedure has the choice of who gets to be in there. Birthing a child is not an all-access pass for everybody else who wants to be in there. It's also not a spectator sport, it's a medical procedure to get a little human out of another human. Not the a-hole. Comment number 2, not the a-hole, your husband is a huge a-hole for thinking mommy's excitement is a higher priority than the woman who is actually pregnant. It sounds like your husband is using you as a surrogate to give mommy and sissy a new toy. No way should his mother be at the birth. It is your medical procedure and the only priority is keeping you and the baby safe and healthy. It's not dinner theater where your husband is entitled to sell tickets to the show. And the next one is titled Great Petty Revenge. I, 23 female, took my first job 1 month after I gave birth to my youngest daughter. It was difficult for me to work graveyard at a call center, and since I'm breastfeeding both 2 of my daughters, I could not always drink anything with caffeine. So in order to keep me awake, I make my own special drink. I always bring 2 bottles of it. I put the other one on the fridge in the pantry while I bring the other one with me on my desk. After lunch, I would grab my extra, and after a while I noticed that the bottle is not full anymore. Until one time it is just empty. I wanted to know who's been stealing my drink, so I brought 3 bottles. 2 of those stayed in my bag. The extra 3rd bottle, instead of sugar, I poured a lot of salt. It was at least 30% salt. Added during lunch break, I placed the bottle in the fridge and waited patiently. And there she goes. She opened the fridge, went straight for my bottle and chuck and puke. Literally spit at the floor and then ran to the toilet. I will never forget the look on her face. That probably won't stop her from stealing again, so just to play safe, I never left any of my food or drinks on the fridge ever again. The next one is titled HR Karen is crazy entitled. I used to work in a call center where everyone had little cubicles. You could chat with people on either side or behind you if things got slow, but anyone on the other side of the divider was sort of hard to see or chat with. That's only important because Karen was in this hard to see location from me. Personally, I have issues with overheating medical stuff. I like to sit right under the AC vent. Nobody fought me for this because it was a little too cold for most people, and well, being a woman, this meant that sometimes I had some nipple pokey issues on some days. It's perfectly natural and to most people not noticeable because it was under my shirt and bra. Karen notices this and makes a report to HR. HR woman and my direct supervisor parade me through the cubicles and into their office to question me about my nipples. Now, I could have thrown a fit about this to begin with, since we didn't actually have a dress code and it's none of their damn business. They asked me to prove that I was wearing a bra, so I showed them the straps. They told me good enough basically and to go back to my desk. I refused to go back though. I said I needed to place a complaint about someone here. They asked me who I was reporting and I said, I don't know, but you do. I want to report whoever it was that's been staring at my breasts all day. Now that I know that someone is staring, I feel like this is a hostile work environment. They acted like I was joking at first until I said, if you don't have a talk with them, I will go over your heads and report you for forcing me to reveal my bra to you. I got escorted back to my desk and Karen was sitting there looking smug, until they escorted her to the HR office instead. I don't know what happened to her in the office and I didn't care. They did their part by having their talk with her. All I really wanted to know was who did it. Since it was a very slow day, all my coworkers started asking me what that was all about. The office gossip, you know. Well, I told everyone exactly what had happened and added that Karen must be fascinated with my breasts since she noticed. Everyone else confirmed that they didn't even notice. When Karen came back from HR, every person in the room knew what she had done and was glaring at her. Snitches did not get stitches and didn't get fired either, but they got treated like the Karen they were. Nobody would talk to her, people would be chatting, see her come, try to join the conversation and go silent and turn away from her. Some people did loud whispers and made comments like, "Shh, don't say anything, she will report you." She quit about 2 weeks later. And yeah, ripe stars, even though that was a satisfying story in the end, I gotta say there are a lot of things to question here and a lot of things to unpack. That HR department is questionable to say the least. If you force someone to reveal their bra, even if it is just a straps, that does not seem like a legit HR department whatsoever. It sounds like the HR department themselves should be fired most likely. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. My house is not for sale. One of my sad encounters with a Karen, yay. I live in a quad in a small urban neighborhood. For those unaware, a quad is basically 4 houses stuck together, 2 facing the street and 2 hidden behind, kind of like a townhouse, but not. This week, my back neighbor's unit directly behind me went up on the market. The owners, a real nice couple with a kid close to my age, decided to renovate it so they could charge more rent. Anyways, I am home alone, peacefully sitting on the couch watching TV. I am eating my first bowl of cereal in a week. I had my wisdom teeth out, which sucked. And trying to keep my cat out of it. I'm watching the HLN channel out of boredom when somebody starts pounding on the door. At first I ignored it, but it persists for several minutes before I end up saying screw it, and after shoving my cereal bowl in the fridge to keep the damn cat out, I got to open the door. Me, hello? Karen, the crazy lady at the door,
finally, I've been knocking for hours.
Actually,
I'm here to see the house on the market. Can you show me around?
You mean the one in the back?
No, this one.
This house is not on the market.
Yes, it is.
Points behind her.
This sign says so.
I look out and blink at the sign posted on the fence next to the driveway. Me, ma'am, they are renovating the house in the back since the tenant moved out.
Let me in. I demand to be given a tour.
Me, thanking God for the screen door. Ma'am, how many times do I have to tell you? This unit is not for rent. Karen then stares at me weird. Karen,
for rent? The sign says for sale.
Now I know she is lying. The sign clearly says in bright orange letters against a black background, for rent with the owner's number. Me, now exasperated. Can you not read? The sign says for rent. Karen,
this house is for sale and I demand to be shown the inside.
No, go away. This unit is not for sale or rent, it's the neighbor's.
You stupid brat, stop lying and let me in.
Me, finally at my limit. Lady, the sign says for rent and not for sale. If you cannot understand that, then get some damn glasses and leave my not on the market house. I then slammed the door in her face and locked it. I then closed the front curtains, but that did not stop her from banging on the front window. After 3 minutes of this, I have enough. Grabbing my phone, I storm over to the door, grab my old softball bat and fling the door open. Karen barely has a chance to say anything when I step out. I towered over her. Me, get the F off my parents' property before I call the cops and make you. Karen finally got the hint and ran off. I called my parents to let them know what happened and they said they will tell the landlord. I hope she never comes back because she would make a horrible neighbor. And the next one is titled Return of the My House is Not For Sale Lady and Her Lawyer. If you have read my previous post, then you will understand the events of this event. So yes, the Karen came back. Oh joy. I was sitting at home alone again watching a DVR recording of NCIS when there is this knock at the door. So I go to open the door and the words, "What the actual F?" almost came out. There, standing at the door with a man, is the Karen. The same Karen who tried to enter my house a while back while I kept telling her it was not for sale. F my life. Me, what do you want, lady? If you want to...
Karen, shut up you brat. I'm here to purchase this place and my lawyer here will help me.
Lawyer nods head. I cannot effing believe this. Like really? Me, lady, must I remind you that this house is not for sale or rent? It's the unit in the back, not this one. So leave before I call the cops for you trespassing.
This place is, and I will have you evicted out of this place today, lawyer.
Lawyer pulls out some fancy document and holds it up to the screen. This document is proof that this place is on the market and that you must leave by tonight. I just stared at the piece of paper. I may not have the best knowledge of all this civil stuff, but I can already tell this is a load of bull. If we were going to be evicted, we would have been notified already. Me? Really? Wow, aren't you stupid?
Karen, what did you just say?
You heard me. Stupid. Must I spell it out for you?
You little
stupid. Karen. Lawyer glares at me. Was that really necessary? Me, considering how stupid you and your client are, yes it was.
How dare you? Do you even know who I am?
Me, lady, I couldn't care if you were the goddamn queen of the world. For the last time, this place is not for sale or rent. I then moved to close the door when my cat came over and peeked between my legs. Karen.
What is that thing?
My cat? Note, my cat is black with 2 small patches of white on her chest and the other on her tummy, and has the biggest pair of green eyes ever. She's normally very shy around strangers, so I am surprised she even came over. Karen:
That's not a cat, it's a damn demon.
Yes, she seriously said that. She is apparently one of those people, one who is still afraid of black cats. I wanted to snap something nasty at her when a positively evil idea came into my mind. I picked up my absolutely beautiful cat and smiled. Me: oh, but isn't she so sweet? Cat meows: see, she agrees. Karen, visibly freaking out:
Get that thing away from me.
Grinning, I stepped outside, still holding the cat. Karen backed up like mad, dragging her lawyer with her. I followed along, my grin turning mad as I continued to talk about how sweet and precious my cat was, even rubbing my face against hers and kissing her fur. Watching Karen and her lawyer peel off down the street in her car was so satisfying. I gave my cat 6 big treats and a snuggle. And guys, with this we have reached the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. However, if you cannot get enough of my content, then please feel free to check out my Patreon over at patreon.com/ripeyoutube, or join my YouTube membership program by clicking the join button to get access to even more exclusive videos. Thank you so much for your support, and I will see you again tomorrow.